First things first, got the belt of truth. Ayo, ayo. Put on my boots, gotta tell the good news. Ayo, ayo. The armor of God and the shield of faith. Ayo, ayo. Got my sword and my helmet, now it's time to pray. Ayo, ayo. I put on the full armor of God, stand strong against the evil one. I put on the full armor of God, the full armor of God. First things first, you got the belt of truth. Ayo, ayo. Put on my boots, I gotta tell the good news. Ayo, ayo. The armor of God and the shield of faith. Ayo, ayo. Got my sword and my helmet, now it's time to pray. Ayo, ayo. Put on the full armor of God, stand strong against the evil one. Put on the full armor of God, the full armor of God. Put on the full armor of God, stand strong against the evil one. Put on the full armor of God, the full armor of God. Now in faith we can stand against every evil plan. Now it's time to be strong. He has won. I put on the full armor of God, stand strong against the evil one. I put on the full armor of God, the full armor of God. I put on the full armor of God, stand strong against the evil one. I put on the full armor of God, the full armor of God.
Hey guys, so for the last couple of weeks we've been talking about suiting up in the armor of God, which is the amazing thing that God gives us to be able to stand firm in our faith and face whatever comes at us. So we spoke about the belt of truth that we buckle around our waist that helps us to remember what the truth of God really is. Then we spoke about the breastplate of godliness. So when we obey God and we try to follow Him, it protects our hearts. Last week we spoke about the good news boots. We put on these boots that help us to tell other people all about Jesus and the amazing news that He loves us. Today we're talking about the shield of faith. So what is a shield? A shield is the thing that we have that protects us from the arrows that the enemy used to fire in battles, or from the sword of the people who are trying to fight against us. A shield is something that keeps us safe, something that we can hide behind. And the Bible tells us that our shield is faith. Faith is trusting God. So here we have Captain America, and he's got this shield to protect him. The thing about this though is if I were to go into battle, it might work for Captain America, but if I were to go into battle, what's the problem with this shield? It's a little bit small, right? So we need our faith to be really big. The more we trust God, it's as though our shield gets bigger and bigger so that we're protected and God can help us to face whatever comes our way. Today our story is about two men called Joshua and Caleb. They had amazing faith. They trusted God even when everyone else didn't. So let's go and see our story about their faith.
God's people, the Israelites, had a weakness. They had a really hard time believing and trusting in God's promises, and they let fear get in the way of the good things God had for them. You see, there was a land that God promised to give them. The Israelites had never been there before, so Moses, their leader, sent Joshua, Caleb, and 10 other men into the land to check it out. Once the men got into the promised land, they couldn't believe their eyes. This place was the best thing they had ever seen. They saw that there were grapes so large that it took 2 of them to carry just 1 branch. The land was so perfect, they said it was flowing with milk and honey. They loved all that they were seeing, except there was one tiny problem. There were some really tall and powerful people living there. Well, the 12 men went back to Moses to tell him what they saw. 10 of the men told Moses that the land was great, but warned him saying things like, We can't attack those people. They are more powerful than we are. We look like grasshoppers compared to them. The other two men, Joshua and Caleb, told Moses about all of the great things in the land. They had faith and believed that because God had promised them the land, it would be theirs. They used their faith in God like a shield and told everyone they shouldn't be afraid because God was with them. When the Israelites heard the report, they let their weakness of fear take over. They decided not to go into the land. Because of this, the Israelites wandered for another 40 years in the desert. God decided once again to bring them to the promised land and allowed them to enter this time. Joshua and Caleb had faith and never stopped trusting God. They were able to live in the perfect land that God promised. When we have faith and trust God, we use the shield of faith from God's armor to overcome our weaknesses. When we suit up with the shield of faith, we can stand against any fear and save the day.
So we want to be like Joshua and Caleb. We don't want to trust what we see in front of us and trust the world around us. We want to trust what God says. Joshua and Caleb lived by faith and not by sight. And that's what the scriptures tell us we should do. And that's our memory verse for today. We live by faith and not by sight. 2 Corinthians 5 verse 7. So let's say it again together. We live by faith, not by sight. 2 Corinthians 5 verse 7.
Will it superhero? Can a pool noodle be a superhero? Let's find out. Can a pool noodle be a superhero? Yes! Can a banana be a superhero? Let's find out. Can a banana be a superhero? No! Can a pizza be a superhero? Come back next week to find out.